We have big news. We have exciting news for you. Tell them what it is, Serena.
We are super excited to announce that we are starting our first membership this January 2024.
Yay! Membership.
So we're excited to let you know that we will be hosting a monthly membership where when you join, you will be
With us live in a Zoom room once a month for a workshop like we just hosted. It's going to be a workshop like that, one topic each month, a different topic. You might even help us come up with the following month's topic from inside our membership. Super excited to meet you. It was so fun meeting a few of you in our inaugural workshop. So we're really looking forward to that.
And when you are a member, you will also be receiving a monthly newsletter where I'm going to be a little more intimate and I'll be sharing the things that are working and the things that aren't working for me.
Yeah, like taking a tool that you've learned from the podcast and how you're implementing it and how well that worked, or maybe if it didn't work. And then Amma can put in my 2 bits worth. We'll see how that goes. But a membership newsletter and a membership live Zoom room workshop starting in January 2024. You can sign up through our Patreon link in the show notes. Yeah.
Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and we can't wait to see you there, listeners.
We can't wait. Yay.
Welcome back to another Family Fun Friday here at the Nurturing Parent podcast with Melissa and Mama Serena.
So glad to be here with you. And just because next week is, for those of us like Serena and I who live in the Northern Hemisphere, next Wednesday is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. And where both of us live, it's pretty short. It gets light way after 7 in the morning now, and it gets dark just after 4 o'clock. And so I like to sing about the light. And I often, if you listen to our episode about Christmas consumerism, I think it was that episode last year, one of our very first episodes, number 2 or 3, I think it was.
Yeah.
I talk about celebrating solstice as one of the ways of shifting from the heavy consumerism of Christmas. So one of the things that I always do on solstice is I sing this song. And you're all going to recognize it. I'm almost certain. And so I'll sing how parts of it were originally recorded. It's a spiritual song that doesn't have an origin that we know of. Sometimes people say it was written by a certain person in 1930 or something, but I'm not going to even say that person's name because they wrote the song down. But this was an African-American spiritual that dates way, way back. So we don't know who the original writer was. But I will sing you some of the traditional song and then how I like to, and it's a song that we can all just kind of make our own and add our own verses and things. So there's lots of fun ways to do that. This little light of mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do with this song. One of the classic verses says, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine. And I guarantee the little ones are gonna love singing, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. And one verse that I know says, don't let anybody put it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let anybody put it out. I'm going to let it shine. So that's speaking to, don't let anybody else take your happiness, your light away from your life. You get to shine your light because it comes from within, right? So, so one fun thing to do with the kids is this verse, everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. So if you're indoors, they might choose which room they're going to shine their light in. In my bedroom, I'm gonna let it shine. Right here in my bedroom, I'm gonna let it shine. In my bedroom, I'm gonna let it shine. It could be they might want to move throughout the house. Over here in the kitchen, I'm gonna let it shine. Right here in the kitchen, I'm gonna let it shine. That kind of thing can be fun. In our whole house, we're going to let it shine. Right here in our house, we're going to let it shine. Or if you're going outside, it could be a way to get coats and boots on and go out for that walk. We're going to take our light outside and let it shine. All around our neighborhood, we're going to let it shine. If you're going in the car, all around the town, we're gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So that's a fun way to bring a song into your day.
You're
And
so
another
creative.
one. Well, especially this song, it's so easy to open it up and really play with the words. And because it's a traditional song, it's fine for us to play with the words and change it up. And if you're using it as a quieting song, especially as a bedtime song kind of thing, you can sing it more gently and quietly. If you're singing it just as a family activity, or, if you're having a solstice celebration, listen to that podcast and find out more about that. You can sing and encourage people. And I've done this a lot. I go Facebook Live on my personal page, and I do this a lot where I invite people to let me know what they want to let their light shine. So, for example, this little light of love, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of love, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of love, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And then I'm gonna leave a gap, and you're gonna come up with one. Ready? This little light of
Joy.
Yay! I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of joy. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of joy. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And you might have this little light of peace, this little light of family. We're gonna let it shine. This little light of happiness, this little light of quiet. It could be just about anything, right? So play with that, and yeah, that's a really, really fun one. And it's so well known and it's so easy to sing. So that's my offering to you on this Family Fun Friday. And I really encourage you to sing it over the weekend and sing it next. When challenging things happen in our lives, in our world, in our family life, in the country, or in the world at large, this can be a really nice song. I sang it every day for a while at the very beginning of the pandemic when we were pretty much all in lockdown. I sang it live on Facebook, and it was so uplifting for people. So it's a beautiful song when you are going through challenging times to remember this song and to sing it as a way of remembering that as long as our light is shining, it's going to be okay. We're going to come through the other side of whatever it is we're going through. And in this case, the light is going to return for those of us in the northern hemisphere. And winter can be dark, and for some of us it can be kind of depressing or that kind of thing too. So let your light shine. Yeah.
All right. And we have two books for you. They're both called This Little Light of Mine. And the first one is This Little Light of Mine by E.B. Lewis. And the second,
Mm,
This Little Light of Mine, a Lift Flap Book by Darcy Pattison.
yeah. And the E.B. Lewis one I love because it is also illustrated with African American people in the illustrations. And because it's an African American spiritual, I like that, to honor them. And the activity for this week is so simple and it's so beautiful. And I really hope that you can do it this weekend. And then you'll have these to have a little circle. If you can go outside, if the weather's okay, go outside even for a few minutes, sing This Little Light of Mine, and light up your twinkle magic jars. That's what you're going to create this weekend if you can, or if you can sometime before solstice or before Christmas. And I made it last year with my little guy, and he was mesmerized. I have this gorgeous photo. I'll put it up on our social media. It's just this beautiful, him just mesmerized. What it is, a large quart size mason jar, clear glass mason jar, canning jar, quart size with its lid. You're going to go out for a little walk and you're going to gather some evergreen branches, just short ones, because they're going to tuck inside your mason jar. And what I want to encourage you to do is gather them up off the ground where they have naturally fallen, if possible, unless everybody's raked up every last thing that's fallen in the last wind. But I like to gather them off the ground whenever possible. If you have to cut a little bit off an evergreen tree, make sure it's a tree you're allowed to cut from, but just take a few tiny little pieces, about 4, 5, 6 inches long, because they can tuck in there, and just enough to fill up that jar nicely. And you need to go out and purchase, and you can get these in dollar stores. We will have a link if you want to support us and
In
buy
the
a
show
link through
notes.
us. Yes.
All in the show notes.
Battery operated. You're going to need your batteries for these two. I think they're usually AA, but make sure you've got the batteries. Mini, mini, mini lights, little twinkle lights, the kind that are on thin wire, and the lights are teeny, teeny, tiny. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So you're going to put the battery pack in where you can reach it. Sometimes you can reach it with like a chopstick, or I always have chopsticks in my, or I guess you might be able to reach it with a kitchen, like a butter knife, but you want to be able to reach it because you have to turn that on and off little switch. And you want to hide the battery pack as much as you can with those boughs so you can't see it. And you're just going to stuff the lights in there and stuff the evergreen branches in, and then turn on your light and put your lid on. If you have an extra time or you want to, you can take a little bit of pretty wrapping paper, Christmas wrap, and you can put it on the lid, glue it on to the flat part of the lid, and then it, just makes it a little more special. And then you just have this beautiful little lantern, and children just feel like it's just the most magical thing.
And they love lights. Anything that
they do, and I love lights. All right. Well, we love you, and we wish you a beautiful solstice and returning of the light for those of you up here in the Northern Hemisphere. And we'll talk to you again on Monday.
Bye.